Hey, welcome back to episode 2 of the Alexander's Approach podcast.
Oh, yeah.
First and foremost, we want to thank everyone that tuned in and watched and subscribed for episode 1. We appreciate all of the feedback, all of the comments that you all provided, all of the dialogue. Like we've had some really good discussions based off of the dialogue and comments that you all added like in the comment section. So thank you for that. Please keep it coming. So we just gonna jump right into it.
Let's do it,
right?
Yeah.
So we were talking the other day, and we were talking about social media and how social media has begun to kind of like have a big influence on how people move, what they think they should be doing, where they think they are in life, based off of what others are doing and how others are moving. So I'm gonna start by asking Charles, do you feel as if social media dictates happiness and people's happiness? Like, how do you think it affects people? How do you think it has changed how we view the world and how we move?
Yeah, I really do. It's crazy because it's like before social media, what was people guide to success, right? Like think about our parents, grandparents. What did they look to for success? Like I don't think it was more that you got this, I need this. It was more like I just need to provide for my family. But yeah, I definitely think we're looking at everybody else's life every day. Right? But what we're seeing is a highlight reel of everybody else's life. So when you always seeing positive things, people traveling and like starting businesses and just, doing all these great things, going to dinner, right, all these positive things, your mind is like, if you're not doing that, it's like, why am I not doing that? Right? And so once you start thinking that, now it's like you're chasing what somebody else doing, in your everyday life. And that comes with a high level of like stress and like even insecurities, right? And you might be doing well, likely you are doing well, but if you look at somebody else's success, you think you're doing better. I was watching an interview, and I think Steve Harvey was talking about this. He was saying how in your career you might start off making out of college, maybe start off making $40,000 a year, right? Then you in about a year and a half you making 50. In 3 years like you making 70, 80. And he was like, sometimes we always focus on where we are in the moment and don't think about the journey to get from that 40,000 to 80,000. So if you just focused on, man, I'm only making 70, 80,000, but my homie making 120, he's like, man, you just abandoned your entire journey. Like you ain't always made the 80,000, right? So I feel like social media, it's all about what's happening in the moment. We forget all about everybody's journey. We don't know what anybody went through. We're just seeing what they're doing in that moment. And when you do that, it's like you can never fully be happy because somebody gonna always have something different than you, maybe something better than you from your point of view, a better car, better house, whatever, traveling. Somebody gonna always do something different. So if you're always wanting what somebody else have, how can you always ever appreciate what you have and what you've earned? So I think, even in terms of like bullying, like, for kids in school, middle school, high school, etc. Like I think even that, I guess it affects them every day. Because think about when we was younger, right? Like you might encounter bullying right in school, but guess what? It stopped at 2:30, at 3 o'clock, right? That bullying stopped, right? Until maybe the next day at school. Now it never stops for kids, right? So they get bullied all day in school, right? And it goes on social media, right? So it never stops. And that's why we see the suicide rates higher too for young people. But yeah, I think it has its great aspects, but it's definitely problematic.
I think when it comes to social media, when you look at it that way, whereas okay, I'm seeing all of these people doing these great things, I'm behind, I need to keep up, I need to do more. I think that's very problematic. But I think that you can look at that as motivation.
Good.
So you can say it's perspective, right? So you can say, oh, well, this person I've been following for years, like they just got a promotion, they just started this business, they just bought this property. You can look at it as motivation to say, oh, they're doing great things. They're making it, doing these things. Maybe that's something I can do. Or maybe I can look into something similar. So I feel like when people use it in that sense, it's very beneficial. But I do think when it's used as a comparing mechanism to say I'm behind, or I need to do more, or I'm not doing enough, that's when it becomes problematic. I think that when you look at relationships on social media, people think that's the happiness bliss, right? They look at pictures, they're looking at couples traveling, they're looking at couples just spending money, especially celebrities, and they think that is the end all be all. That's what they aspire to be. And I hate that for us. Like I hate that You know, we see that and we think, oh, they're so happy. That's what we should be trying to do. No, like run your own race. Like that's probably not for you. Like that's probably not your destiny and what's gonna make you happy. So I do think when it comes to social media, we should be mindful of just the lens of how we view social media. And I always think of kids and them growing up and like, you know, we have a lot of nieces and nephews, and right now because of social media, like it's not cool to really like work hard. Like everyone wants to be influencers, everyone wants to make money, everybody wants to be famous
right away, but
they don't want to like put the work in.
Yeah.
And that's because they're looking at all of these, like our nieces specifically, looking at all these different chicks on social media, and they thinking like, well, they're doing it, like this is what I'm trying to do. I really don't want to work. I don't want to have to go to college and take classes. Like I just want to find the fast track to be happy and get money and live my best life, right? But that's not realistic.
They think that 30-second highlight reel, they think that's like that's life, literally.
They do.
You know what I mean? It's interesting because even that, people putting in work on this highlight reel to make it look good. Like that's a process. Like they're not showing the journey. They only showing the highlight of whatever it is. Right? And so like if we think like on a granular level, like that's really what it is. People are showing you the good. And you're right. It does come down to perspective though. But how do we find that balance? Because think about this, if you're not at a good place in your life, right? And I think this is where it's really harmful. If you're not in a good place in your life, and you're on social media and you're seeing all of this positivity, you see all these people like getting promotions at jobs and having great careers and whatever they're doing, right? In these great relationships, you see all this. How else do you think you're going to think about your life, right? It's hard to really be in that like, oh, that's motivation if you're just not there. And sometimes you don't even know how to get there.
And I think that's why a lot of people take cleanses from social media. And I think that's very important. Like if you find yourself looking on social media daily, looking at other people's lives, following people without following them, but going to their page and watching everything they do, like maybe it's time for you to take a break from social media. Maybe it's time for you to reevaluate. And I know like some people have fasted and they fasted from social media. And I think those thoughts are very important. Those practices are very important when you find yourself just so deep into social media and following the lives of others and comparing yourself. I think you have to have the will to even do that, because some people, they need social media. Like they gonna log in every day. They're gonna be on for hours a day. I know a lot of times, like I'm working and I'll like take a 5-minute break just to look through social media. And sometimes I have to check myself, like, why am I on social media?
Especially videos you be watching. Hey, quick side note. I don't know what it is. Like,
I love
Tivia loves like these random like.
No, it's
these
like
crying fouls videos. Like this dude had this lady.
Type videos.
Yeah, she had this lady in the basement captives for 20 years. Like she watched
it
for hours. It'd be so wild. Like I think you're addicted to those.
It's so good. First of all, that passes the time for me. Okay, but that's just what I like. But if I find myself doing that every single day and having nightmares on it, that means maybe I should take a break.
And the scariest person ever. Watch, like, why are you even watching that?
Because it's so good. It's addictive. It's addictive. But yeah, when it comes to social media, though, I think that we should reevaluate social media when it gets to that point. I do hate that we watch social media so much and we compare our lives to it. And I think that's why you need people that's going to be in your corner and say, no, you're doing good. Like, I know I had somebody tell me that before.
That's real.
And they were like, you know, you're doing a lot of good stuff. And I'm like, no, I need to be doing more. Because that's always my mindset. And she's like, what? Like, no, you're doing a lot. You're doing enough. And I kind of had to, like, check myself. Like, you know, relax. Like, stop trying to do the most. And just kind of, like, take in the moment, enjoy the moment, and appreciate how far I've come as far as, like, career-wise.
We weren't supposed to be here.
Exactly.
We weren't supposed to be here. But I also think about identity too, though, right? Like if you don't really truly know yourself, and you still searching to find your thing, your purpose, like who you are, it's easy for you to be on social media and be like, I want to do that, or I need to be that, I need to be this, because you still figuring out you. You know, so I think that's also that also plays a role. Initially, I was saying like, what did our parents and grandparents look to? Like they didn't have those type of distractions. But the positive is they didn't have that, but the negative is they also didn't have that, right?
Exactly.
So they didn't see other people maybe like that they didn't know that was doing all these great things. But do we know, what did they?
I was just thinking, Adam, they had movies.
Movies,
movies, TV shows.
Radio. I mean, radio
Yeah.
was like
That's true, but I think
40s,
mainly as
50s,
far
radio's
as like
big, yeah.
visuals and visibility, like
Yeah.
it was TVs
Yeah.
and movies, television shows and movies.
And reading. And
Oh
they
yeah,
have
and
books.
reading
They
too.
have
Yeah,
for sure
of
books,
course.
right.
So it's like that's kind of like what scoped. Oh, I want to be a movie star. I want to look
Yeah.
like her and things like that. But now it's just strictly social media. So yeah, it's kind of crazy when you think about it.
It is crazy. It has its, positives, but it also depends on what do you need. What do you view social media as for you? And my whole mindset for social media changed. I want to say like maybe about 4 or 5 years ago. Diddy had made a post and he was like,
Oh yeah.
he was like, if you have 2,000 followers, 3,000 followers, and you don't have a product, or you're not selling anything, or you're not trying to bring them into a business you're starting, like you're literally wasting like just collateral. Like you're wasting like customers or clients. And I'm like, that is very true. Remember we had this conversation a while back? And that's
you took a break from social media after that.
I did. I'm like, I need to figure out why am I on here? Like you got all these friends you got 2,000 friends on LinkedIn, 5,000 on Facebook, 3,000 Instagram, and mostly all the same people. Even that. Why did I say all the same people follow you on all these pages? And like, what's the purpose? So I think when you reevaluate your purpose of being on social media, then you can view it different.
Yep. That's a good point.
So
very good point.
Yeah. So another topic, I think this is a conversation that I think in our friend group we've had this topic, talk about this a lot. Both of us, we grew up, I would say, first in the hood, but like in poverty for sure. And so we never had to think about this, but now we do. So our kids now will grow up middle class, hopefully wealthy, right? And many of your kids will grow up the same way, right? Many of our listening kids will grow up the same way. And so our question is, and think about this, how do we instill like work ethic, right, in kids when you want to give them so much because you didn't have, right? Like you want to give them the world, but you also know there's value in working hard, right? There's value in going through the journey, and there's also value, unfortunately, in the struggle, right? And so, like, how do we do that? How do we instill that? Like, you should work. Yeah, we can give it to you, right? But how do we instill that work ethic, knowing that we can just give our kids what we didn't have?
And I know we've talked about this before because we want to make sure, like with our girls, that we ground them and they understand that they're privileged, right? As far as, oh, I want these shoes, my mom and my dad can buy them for me, or I want this toy, and I could easily, like now, like Bella, she'll come and say, hey, can I get this from Amazon? Like, so she knows that. And I think I'm a sucker for that because whenever we go somewhere, like I'm gonna buy her something. Like we went to Florida, random places, everywhere we went, I'm just buying anything because I'm just happy that I can buy that for my daughter, right? But
it's way too many toys though.
It is.
It's getting out of hand.
But in that moment though, it's like, oh, she really wants this. This is cute. I want to make sure that I get it for her. And so I know, like we've had the conversation as far as like how do we ground our daughters to understand what their privilege is as far as being able to get certain things and live in a house and just have some of the things that we didn't grow up with, right? So it's like with you all, like when it comes to your children, like how are you going to ground your kids, or how have you grounded your kids? Like our daughters are really small right now, but we're trying to like instill that early as far as like starting to do chores, and that's as simple as like just putting your clothes in the hamper or cleaning your room. Like Bella helps us clean the room, and we kind of like reward her for that. But it's like, how are you rewarding your children? How are you instilling that foundation of just being appreciative to them?
I remember when Bella turned 2, I believe, we took her to on Christmas, we went to a homeless shelter, a children, a family shelter. And we told her, like, you have a lot of toys, but they don't have toys, right? And so some of the toys she got or some toys we bought, we took them right to the family shelter. And I like just even doing that, but like being consistent with showing her, like, you have these things, but you have more than you need. I think that's the thing. Like you got 4 bins full of toys, but do you need that? It's kids that don't have 2 toys, right? Like growing up, you already know my Christmas was 1 or 2 toys, maybe, hopefully, so understanding like she has more than she needs and showing her like it's people don't have that, like, and I think she already kind of got that in here, and I think that's a blessing. But this is the other part of it. Are we selfish for wanting our kids, our daughters, etc., to like want to go through a struggle or go through something because we went through it? Like, because is that the only way you can teach work ethic, to go through something? Like, I don't know. We only thinking that because we did, but what about other privileged kids that didn't have
That's
to go
true.
through those things?
And I don't think that we need that to teach that work ethic, but
Yeah.
I just want it to be a balance and for them to understand
Yeah.
both. Understand that it's a privilege to get some of these things, but you need to be willing to work for it. So I always think about
Yeah.
like we have nieces and nephews who basically are growing up privileged compared to us, because right now, like, they ask for anything, they're gonna get it. They want
Ooh.
some Yeezy shoes, they want Balenciagas, they want their hair done every week, nails done, like, and they're getting it.
But they
So
just
it's like,
ask for it. It's not
they just
because
ask for
of-
it. They don't have a job, nothing, but it's just they're in high school asking for these things. And I remember when, like, our nephew Charles asked him one time to, like, sweep the floor, and remember what he asked you? He said,
How much?
"How much you gonna pay me?" And it's crazy because as a kid, if my aunt or
Yeah.
uncle said sweep the floor, it was never a even thought
That's
to
not
say,
free. That's-
are you gonna pay me?
You
It was
just
like,
did it.
You just did it, right?
Yeah,
But it's
yeah.
like they've gotten so used to, like, being rewarded for it,
It's
doing the most basic
Yeah,
things.
it's like everything transactional for
It
them.
is,
It's like,
yeah.
if I do this, then you'll give me this.
Yep.
Well, for us, like, we did it because our parents or family members, whoever said you need to do it, and we respected them just
Yeah,
off GP,
And we have no choice.
and with no choice.
But
Yeah.
now I feel like they're privileged in that way where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't have to sweep the floor. I don't have to wash a dish or babysit my cousins or anything. And if I do any of those things, I need to be rewarded for it. You need to
Correct.
pay me. Like,
Yep.
and I don't know where that came from, but that wasn't us. And I think
No.
now, like, our nieces and nephews, they all look at it like that. And it's like,
Yeah.
is that normal? Like, what do you do in those situations? Because
Yeah.
clearly we kind of like dropping the ball, and we don't want to drop the ball for our daughters.
I don't know. That's a tough one because again, you want to give them things because they doing well in school and stuff like that. But again, did they work for that thing they're asking for, right? Like, did they earn it?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, how do you instill that? You have to earn it. Yes, Bella, Berkeley, we can give it to you, but did you earn it? Do you deserve it?
All I know is if an aunt and uncle tell them to sweep the floor, they're gonna sweep the floor, and not ask, "Are you gonna pay
Right,
me?" And be
right.
serious about asking
Yeah.
about payment. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's crazy, but it just goes back to, I think, how, like, they're raised and
And a part of work ethics, like, I want them to be independent outside of us,
yeah.
right? As they get older, right? Like, I need them to know, like, if we're not around or we're not providing or doing things for them, they can still figure it out,
Yeah.
right? We still put them in position to be successful,
Absolutely.
but they like, I'm good. Like, our parents instill certain qualities and
Set me up.
yeah, and things in me early on, so I know how to maneuver in life
Yeah.
without having to always depend on our parents.
Yeah.
Because we ain't gonna always be here.
We definitely not, and
You
we
know,
need
so-
to make sure they're prepared. So
Oh yeah.
that's a good question, though.
Very good. I'm interested to hear y'all thoughts on that because it's something we working through. I'm sure y'all might think about this in y'all families or for y'all kids as well.
And especially those who have older kids too. Like,
Oh yeah.
what have you done in those situations?
Yeah.
How have you grounded your kids to understand that they need to work for what they want? Or do you even make them work for what they want? Do they just get an allowance?
Yeah.
Do they even do chores? I don't even know if kids do chores anymore. But, like, what do you do to instill that on your kids right now?
Yeah. All right. So you ready for talk your ish?
Let's talk your ish.
Oh, so you gonna start us off?
I'll start us off.
All right. Okay.
So we are going to talk about are men intimidated by strong women? And we plan on talking about this later on in life and having a few people want to discuss this topic as well.
Yeah.
But we kind of just wanted to
Warm it up.
Warm it up and get that discussion going.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of strong women. I know a lot of very driven women, very successful women, and they're single. And they're not single because it's not men out here. There's a lot of men out here. But, like, a lot of women are in their own lane, doing their own thing,
Yeah.
and successful in their own way.
Yeah.
Successful in their own way. And a lot of people I know are having issues and trouble with finding a man because men are intimidated by them because they don't need them, but they want them. What you think?
That's a good one. It's two things. One, if a man is intimidated by a woman, that means he don't get his stuff together, right? That means he's not where he needs to be in life.
Check.
I think that's the first thing. The second part of that is, if a guy's intimidated by a woman, maybe it's because some men might think, if she got everything she need, then what does she need me for, right? And as we know, men want to be needed.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's just kind of in our DNA, right? It's certain things that women want and need, and certain things men want and need. One of those is like, we want you to know and feel that you need us. Like, we're here for you. And if you don't, then even that's like, some men want that leverage.
Yeah.
That's a whole different thing. It's
That's
like,
a whole different
yeah, it's like that's some leverage that they have. But I think for the most part, it's like, okay, if she got, she got a good job, good career, making money, doing her thing. I don't know, like what can I do for her?
And I've been around women that are like that. That's like, oh, I got a job, I got my own house, I got my own car, I pay all my own bills, so I really don't need a man. But I get how that could be intimidating to a man. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. But I also see how, if you're a strong man, like, you should come in and add value to that. That shouldn't scare you away.
Together.
That shouldn't make you not want to, shoot your shot at a female that you're attracted to or want to talk to based off of what she's doing, all of her success. And
quick sidebar, shoot your shot. It seemed like a lot of women these days, they shooting their shot a lot more than in the past. Do you feel that's the thing? Like, just a quick sidebar. You think that's the thing? Because I think a lot of successful women like, hey,
because it's women
this is what I want.
Yeah, and they're really like finding their soulmates and husbands because they're shooting their own shot and they not waiting for the man.
Yeah, I'm noticing that more.
Yeah, and it's like men, and we've had this conversation with a few people already, and they're like, no, like, I'm jumping in DMs now. Like, at this point,
that's wild.
I'm 30 plus. If I see somebody I like, if I see somebody I'm interested in, I'm jumping in his DM like, hey, what's up? Like, you want to go for coffee? Like, and I love that. I think that's great because I hate the idea of those gender roles and the man is supposed to approach the woman. No, like, if you find somebody attractive, what's wrong with, like, sending him a message, trying to reach out to him? Like,
I wonder how men think about that, though. Like, let us know. Like, what do y'all think about a woman that hop in y'all DMs, right, to start the conversation, or say first they feeling you? Like, what's y'all thoughts?
Yeah, do you think less than of a woman?
Right, that's what I'm wondering.
If she's doing that, do you feel like she's thirsty or like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah,
a little extra.
I personally, I rock with that. Like, if you feeling this dude and y'all follow each other on social media, he never said nothing, maybe liking some posts, commenting, and you like, you know what, like, and we know time waits for no man at the end of the day, right? So you like, hey, I just want to see, let him know that I like him and feeling him. So but I think some guys probably feel the way. They might think you're doing that to a lot of other guys. I think that's probably could be what it is.
Why? Because that's what guys do.
Likely.
Yeah.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's a lot of women thinking like guys these days. So guys. So I'm saying.
First of all,
a guy might be like, hey, if she doing that to him, I don't know, she might be.
No woman under all of those criteria that we discussed are just jumping in every dude's DMs trying to hop down.
You don't know that though.
Unless they really attracted to him. But if she really got all her stuff
and guys hop in DMs of people they're attracted to.
That's true. But I feel like women they're less likely doing that compared to men. So if she hopping in your DMs, that probably means she really does like you. And she putting herself out there. But what are you all's thoughts on that? Like, are you open to that? Have you had women jump in your DMs? Like, what has that led to? Relationships, marriage? Like, I'm interested in hearing feedback on that.
But back to the strong woman though. I think it's certain qualities, that a man wants in his woman in terms of if she's too strong. Like, I've been seeing women say a lot lately about the soft era, right? Like, I want my soft era.
Yes.
And let's please talk about that because I don't fully understand the exact meaning, but so I feel like with that said, it's like I don't know. It's like what exactly is it?
Is the soft era?
Yeah.
You just live in a soft life where it's like, me personally at this stage in my life, like, I don't want any stress. I don't want any drama. I don't want any inconveniences. So if cleaning my house is an inconvenience, I need to have somebody come and clean my house. Because that's one less thing that I have to worry about and think about.
I agree with that. Bring them in, clean the house.
So when it
Yes.
comes to like my soft era, living a soft life,
Yeah.
that just means like any minuscule type of inconvenience that's
Yeah.
taking place, like we need to work to remove that. And as our spouse and our husband, we need your help to make sure
Right.
that those are removed, because you already dealing with so many things. You're already stressed out and worried about a million things a day.
Yeah.
So it's like eliminate as much as possible. Live your best life, drama free, stress free,
But how-
kid free sometimes, whatever that
Right,
may be.
right.
Like,
But how does that soft era, how does that connect to like the feminine energy though? Right? Is that like, are y'all saying y'all want to just be fully just, I don't know, like just comfortable in your femininity? Like I'm still trying to understand.
it depends
more
on what
about,
you ask and what context though, because that can mean a few different things. Like soft, as far as relationships, is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Okay, to me, what that means is you just completely vulnerable and able to
There we
just
go.
let loose, relax,
Yeah.
and not have to worry about anything. Like when it comes to relationships and spouses, like if this man comes into your life, he's able to just provide more quality than what you had.
Cool.
He's not bringing any other baggage, drama, extraness. Like he's literally coming in and making your life just easier.
Oh, man, that
And
sounds
just-
great. That sounds great. I got a question though. While y'all live y'all soft era and soft life, what should we be living? What's for us? Like what's different? Y'all, that's great. Everything you explained is beautiful, right?
This ain't about y'all. You said women are talking about this.
Right, but
So what you want to call it? Do y'all have a
But
term
you-
for y'all?
I don't know. But I'm saying, like, we trying to live our best life. That's all I got. We trying to live our best life, you know. But I'm seeing this soft era, soft thing, which is dope. But you know, you just talked about intimidated, like why I'm intimidated by strong women, right? And that's a part of y'all. Like you strong, but you still soft, like.
It's a balance. It's a balance of
Right.
both, right? So it's like, to me, if you're a strong woman, right? You're
Yeah.
dealing with so many things. You got your own car, crib, career, investments, all this stuff. So you're dealing with all these different things.
Right.
If a man comes in and he's helping you like ease some of that stress and
Right.
worry and things like that, I feel like by him doing that and taking some of that away from you, you're able to give more into him and pour more into him.
Yeah.
Because maybe you've been that strong woman. You've been so used to only being able to depend on yourself. Now you have a man in your corner that's gonna help you get through certain things that you never had somebody in your corner for.
That's a good.
So
point.
I'm able to pour more into you because that's less.
Got it. Okay. So, you're an independent woman, right? You're a strong woman.
Okay.
Do you think sometimes if a woman is too independent, too strong, she can't be vulnerable for that man? She can't give the man what he needs, maybe? Because she's so used to just being like, you know, I gotta do everything on my own. I gotta be strong. And I think
it may be an adjustment.
right. And I think
Absolutely.
that's where some men, even successful men, like, all right, I'm good and she good, like financially and all that. But it's still certain. We always say like every man needs a cheerleader, right?
Yes,
Can she be like that? You know, a cheerleader for that man? Can she be that that support system? Can she be loving? Can she do all these things that a man needs when he get done with the world? He come home. Can she be all these things while also still being like this strong, independent woman?
And that just depends on the woman. If that's something that she wants and willing to do, she probably can. Now, if she's in a career where maybe that's not a relationship, may not be what's best for her at that moment.
Right.
And I think that's something that needs to be identified between, that couple, if that's what's right for them. But like from my experiences and the stories that I've heard and people that I know, they're ready to live their soft life era. And I hate the word submissive so much. I hate the word with a passion for so many reasons.
I don't know why.
But like maybe they're ready to, allow that, but they haven't been able to. So they just need that opportunity where it's like a man comes in and provide that, where they have what is it called? Where they have it's like a ease of mind or whatever, where they can just be themselves, relax, not stress about the everyday things that they've been used to stressing about themselves. Maybe they have somebody that's gonna come in and change that for them. So I definitely think that is a possibility, but it just depends on who that person is.
All right, cool.
Peace of mind. That's what I'm trying to say. A peace of
right,
mind.
but I'm with that. But I think that's probably why some men maybe the word not intimidated. Maybe it's just like those men are cautious of those type of women because maybe they can't provide what that man might need in his life at that moment.
Wait, the man is cautious because the woman cannot provide what they
Yeah,
need.
because she's such an independent, strong woman, right? Maybe she can't provide certain things, right, that he might need. As I just.
I mean, I ain't gonna say I know all the women, but every woman that I know that has it all,
Yeah.
and can take care of herself. Not one that wants to be in a relationship, that wants to get married, that wants to have kids, are gonna turn down a good man that's coming in to be that person for them.
Got it.
Like, so as long as he coming in to actually do that, I don't think there's a woman that's gonna
To be
turn
that person. To be what? To be what
to
person?
just be a person that can provide a peace of mind to them,
For that man?
for the woman.
No. Can that woman be that for that man? You saying like, if the woman have all these things.
You said from the perspective of a man coming in for a woman.
Right. No, I'm saying a woman have all these things, right? Independent, right? Career oriented, all these great things, right? You said, and the man come in, like what exactly is the woman? I'm saying, what exactly is the woman providing for that man though? Like she's doing all these things. He can come in and be a support system, but can she provide the things that the man might need too, while being a strong woman?
But it's equal. So he needs to come in and bring that, and she needs to come in and bring that. So I'm not saying a man needs to come in and do that more than her.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, because you asked about the soft life and the soft air and what does that mean?
Yeah.
He needs to, it's a give and take situation. So he should come in and,
Reciprocity. You know her favorite word.
so like I said, they both should come
Yeah.
in with that mindset and bring that to the table. So I
Okay.
don't think that the woman deserves that more than the man. I do think it should be equal. But I just think,
Don't start this 50-50 thing.
yeah, we're gonna start
People
that.
love saying that
We're gonna
50-50.
start that. We're gonna start that.
Yeah.
But that just needs to be,
Yeah.
a discussion
Do what,
once they all
yeah,
come in.
right.
Like,
Do what you think is necessary for your relationship to be.
definitely reciprocity
Successful.
from all parties, for sure. So,
Absolutely.
okay.
So we got a new game segment.
Another segment.
Another
yes,
segment. So just a few days ago, y'all, I was just randomly, I don't know if it was a dream, I had a thought, and I was thinking about just how words have power, right? And like every word you think about, whether it's a big word or whatever, a general word, right? They have meaning, right? And I was like, what if we came up with something called word story? So like to come up with a lot of random words, 25, 30 words, do a randomizer, whatever word pop up, we just relate that word to a story within our life. And see how it go.
Okay, so I just spent
Let's try it. You spin the wheel.
high school.
You going first?
You can go first.
Wow.
You can go first.
Oh, high school, man. First of all, shout out to Kenwood, right? Shout out to Kenwood Broncos all day.
Listen, let me say something real quick. I don't know what it is, but people that go to Kenwood, like, y'all love Kenwood. Like, y'all like a cult.
Yeah, it's the best high school in the city.
I feel like Whitney Young, like every high school, like
Facts.
people love their high school, right?
Facts.
But Kenwood, it'd be like when you're around somebody, like when you find somebody, oh, you went to Kenwood?
Yeah.
What year you go to Kenwood? I'm like, oh my God, here we go. Then y'all start talking about teachers and the principals and all that. It's like y'all a different breed. Like Kenwood, y'all just do the most, I think.
We had our own world.
Kenwood people, then y'all let her talk about off-campus lunch and all that.
Yep.
We don't care.
Yeah.
We didn't have off-campus lunch, so we don't
Okay,
care.
high school, y'all. Man, I don't even know where to start. A story. I got a lot of stories from high school. Oh man. Oh man. I got a story that my uncle loves to tell about high school. So I lived right across the street from my high school. Literally right across the street. And as T was just stated, we had off-campus lunch. So once a week, every now and then, a few times a month, a few of my homies would go to my house for lunch. So we'd be chilling, whatever. So one time, we decided to go to the basement, and there was some weed in the atmosphere, So at this point, we in the house, myself and a few of the homies, we in the basement, and we had a silent alarm, right? For burglars, so they come in and we hit an alarm, right? And the police just pop up. So we had a silent alarm. Me not thinking in the moment, I hadn't turned the alarm off. So the alarm is going off. My uncle get the call, right, from the police. He, of course, rushed to the house. Both my uncles, they rushed to our house. I'm in a basement. And I'm in the basement, all the homies are all in the basement. I come upstairs and they like, wait, where you coming from? What's going on? Like they spazzing out. Like it was crazy. So they start interviewing, the homies one by one. It was a wild story. So that's one of my favorite high school stories. My uncle always tell it, but yeah,
That's why you shouldn't have off-campus lunch. That's why. Give me that. And expect it. I can only imagine.
I don't know how I forgot to turn the alarm off, y'all. To this day.
Living across the street from the high school with off-campus lunch is a disaster waiting to happen. So, yeah, that's why.
And just for record, I wasn't doing nothing base. I was just in the atmosphere.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
What we got? Oh, college.
Whoa.
Dang.
College?
It's so much with college.
Yeah.
Story with college. It's so many. SIU, shout out to the Salukis. Man, I'm just gonna talk about the reserves.
Walking out.
Schneider. When we were dating and nobody knew. I ain't gonna talk about that. I'm just gonna talk about, man. I always remember when I first pulled up to SIU freshman year in 2007. And I remember pulling up and just seeing the towers. And I'm like, oh my God. First we put up to the wrong spot. It was like all the way in the back where like the foreign students used to live. I forgot what it was called over there. And
Thompson Point?
It was not Thompson Point.
Oh.
And it was the wrong spot, so we ended up pulling up to the towers. And I'm like, oh my God, I get to live here. I thought it was so nice. I remember making sure that I had my music ready so that when I pulled up, I can blast my music with my windows down, which was Soulja Boy, Crank That. I'll never forget that. So as soon as I pulled up, I'm like, okay, raise the windows down, turn the music up. Soon as I pulled up, all these little dudes come up, Greek life, you know how y'all used to do. Oh, y'all need help?
Welcome you to the campus, that's all.
Yeah, I'm sure y'all were. Freshman year, all the guys would come and help all the freshman girls move in, right? So they come right up like, hey, you need help? Hi. Talk to my mom like, oh, very nice to meet you, ma'am. Very nice to meet you. Help me and, me and my roommate bring our stuff up. As soon as our parents left, probably like an hour later, the same dudes came back to our door like, so what's up? We got a party tonight. Y'all want to come? And it's so crazy because I'll never forget that moment because I'm pulling up to college. I'm like, oh, this is amazing. I'm like, I get to live here. Yeah. And I never forget that first night just standing outside the towers until 3, like, nobody gonna call me. I don't have to go in. So it was a great experience, but
great introduction to college.
Definitely a great introduction. I'm like, I could stay out till 4 a.m. and just do whatever. Nobody gonna call me like, oh, it's curfew or nothing. So
great times.
Shout out to the Salukis. But
shout out to SIU.
Yeah. So thank you all for tuning in to episode 2. We appreciate you. Please make sure you follow us on Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel as well.
Yep. So Instagram, the Alexanders_approach. Facebook, Alexanders Approach. YouTube, Alexanders Approach. Like I said, share, subscribe on YouTube, all that good stuff. Comment. Please keep the dialogue going, y'all. Our goal is to continue to bring topics to the table that might be taboo, right? People aren't talking about as much, and I just provide like perspective on it, especially when we bring other guests in and hear other points of views on various topics. So yeah, just follow our journey. A lot more to come. Our goal is to have weekly episodes. Yeah. So hold us accountable. We're gonna hold each other accountable. And yeah,
absolutely.
Let's do it.
All right,
y'all. I'll let y'all next episode. Peace.